Well, so many of you have been giving us a lot more of your comments. We're very much grateful that those comments are coming in. And as always, the WhatsApp number platform is 056800,000. Mama V has a couple of them, especially on the subject of the 15% increment in commercial transport fares, for which many of you are having a lot more sentiments being raised about. So we'll try and take a look at some of your comments. What's this one about?
So on this one, this is related to Latif's documentary, the piece on children in the pits. This one says, Mama, please let your crew go to Seshi Akurase at the Amenfi and check on the impact Galamsey. Okay, so the impact of Galamsey on these innocent villages. Chinese miners have polluted the water bodies, which is the main source of drinking water for this village. It's sad that the villagers are paying dearly for their activities, you say. Okay, so various skin diseases, miscarriages. It's sad. I wish I can film it. All right, give us your name, because you didn't include your name so that we can get in touch with you. This one related, I guess, says, Marvi, this is the reason why I don't believe in any leadership in this country. The chiefs are even worse in corruption than the politicians. How can we prosper with leaders always craving to fill their belly? Okay, so to fill their belly and at the expense of the entire nation's progress. God save us. Is from our friend Danny in Akosombo, also related to that subject of children engaged in mining, illegal mining, really. On the transport issue, this is a live experience. One of our colleagues boarded a vehicle. I think he had his own fight with the mate and the driver all together, and he continued the fight even when he got into the office. So this is not a joke. I think the message is more like it should have been communicated early, because a lot of people are waking up. So
you're saying, is it because of the margins of the fare, or specifically how much it's supposed to be?
Exactly. So it should have been.
So when you say 50%, I guess the complimentary thing to have been done was you make the announcement and you make sure you
release,
you itemize the fares for each of the routes, so that
La Paz to Circle was maybe 50 pesos.
So now
with the increment,
maybe it's going to be 75 pesos.
Something like that, so that people will be clear.
So that people don't arbitrarily or indiscriminately just to charge.
But it looks like that's what's happening already.
Usually, I think it's just a phenomenon of taking advantage of the lull before the various prices are published, and that one won't be the fault of the MPA or government, or it's just that.
Well, this is the transport. This is the transport people that released the 15%.
Sure.
So it was their responsibility to have done that. Yeah. This message says, we'll die or fare increases again.
That's a flaw.
You won't die, Charlie. We've lived through tougher times. With this one would pass. Yeah.
Nothing lasts forever, really.
It's true.
All shall pass.
Yeah. I've got a message here.
That's one of my...
All shall pass.
Yes, all shall pass. Nothing lasts forever. Time will tell.
Good morning. I want to use your medium to congratulate Mr. and Mrs. Abuaje, the newest couple in town. God bless your marriage, and greetings to all VT WhatsApp group members. It's from Kwame, China, inside Asante Bekwai, sending us that message. We're also very much going to be talking about Mr. Ivor Commoner Greenstreets. Roland Walker knows him on a personal level, but a lot of us don't know him, apart from the fact that he was former General Secretary.
He's a very nice
and now
man. He's a very nice
now
man.
He's going to be leading the CPP going into the 2016 general elections. We'll build to speak with Mr. Dave Agbe. When we get him, we will let you know, and then we'll start our conversation. Mr. David Agbe is the Executive Director of the Ghana Institute of Governance and Security. We'll be talking to him. But Mr. Ivor Greenstreet is also on the Super Morning Show on Joy FM. It's actually this way. The Super Morning Show is with him because they're coming to you from his residence. So when we do have that feed, we'll bring it to you also here on our show. But Roland, we've got lots of messages. This one says, good morning. We should not be surprised. Hey, wait, we should not be surprised as Ghanaian that our leaders are self-demanding driven. Not sure if I get this. Be it NDC or NPP, let us pray to God to help us. No political party can save Ghana. It's from Dio Angie Paul, who is in Wabusi, sending us the message this morning. How will you react? Your daughter is in SHS Form 3 and she's going back to school after the Christmas break. As a good father, you escorted her to the bus station and left after she had boarded the bus. After 3 hours, you're told the bus she was in has had an accident and no one survived. As you're going crazy, making arrangements to verify her death, you get a call from your daughter saying that I wasn't on that bus. So my boyfriend insisted I spend 2 days at his house before I go to school. What would you do as a parent? How would you react? Chale, matao from all angles. Okay,
yeah,
so we think about that.
I'll be happy in one stead and scold there on the other side of the divide. But I think that should also be... That should be good news, right?
Yeah,
at least your daughter's unknown boyfriend.
It's no good news. Let's get into some CPP conversation now. And we know that Mr. Ivor Greenstreet is now leading the CPP into the November 2016 elections. We'll get some highlights on this with Mr. David Agbe, who's the Executive Director, Ghana Institute of Governance and Security, who's joining us via phone right now. Good morning to you, Mr. Agbe.
Good morning, Mama V and Roland.
Thank you so much for your time. But does Mr. Greenstreet's victory come to you as a surprise?
No, I think that I've monitored Ivor Greenstreet for some kind of reasonable time now, since he became the General Secretary of the CPP for some time ago. So I've really monitored his activity. And I could say that he has been, quite phenomenal, trying to energize the CPP, during his reign as the General Secretary. So it wasn't, a surprise for some of us that Ivor Greenstreet has, become the flag bearer or the presidential candidate for the CPP. And we must say that it is quite a historic mark and groundbreaking for Ghana's democracy, and for it to also energize the Convention's People's Party that, they believe in revolutionary, politics. And so they've done it again. It is the same style that Kwame Nkrumah, actually used when he came down to Ghana in 1947, thereabouts. So it is the same phenomenon that Ivor Greenstreet is actually bringing on board, and we salute CPP that they've done what is, democratically acceptable. Politics of inclusiveness, politics of equality and justice. And so we are so proud that CPP has actually done it again. They've upped, the game. They've actually informed Ghanaians that if somebody is, if I could use the word, physically challenged, it doesn't mean that such a person does not have good attributes. It doesn't mean that the person does not have anything in him. And CPP has actually shown the way. They've actually done what is good, and it is going to bring some kind of civility into our politics. People are going to politically conscious that, yes, people with disability can also equally attain or can become powerful in democratic, politics.
But Mr. Agbe, is that going to translate into votes?
That is what, Mama V, we do hope for, because some of us are not surprised that such a thing has happened before in America. If you recall, there was a former president called Franklin Delano Roosevelt. In 1930s, he became the president of America. He was a cripple. It was through polio that made him, to become a cripple. And during his regime in America, there was a recession in America. There was, depression in the economy. And when Roosevelt came as a president, he did something magically good. And so if Ivor Greenstreet has also been nominated or elected as a flag bearer for the CPP, we also equally expect him, or we challenge him to also bring some kind of energy into our politics, such that it will inure to a political advantage of the CPP. And so all of us, including the media, Mama V, Roland, and everybody, Joy News, you must support Ivan Greenstreet. You need to support.
What are we doing exactly? Are we advocating for people to vote for him because of his condition? Is that what you're asking us to do?
Not at all. What we are calling for is the fact that we all need to sensitize. We all need to do voter education, that we should be able to offer a common platform for anybody, such that we'll be able to respect equality, we'll be able to respect justice. We will be able to tell Ghanaians that if somebody is physically challenged, it doesn't mean that the person cannot do anything. We are not advocating for Ivan Greenstreet to become a president, but we are looking at equality. We are looking at if somebody is physically challenged, if somebody is not standing on his feet, like His Excellency John Dramani Mahama or Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo or Dr. Parko Sindu, it doesn't mean that that person cannot do anything. And so we are actually telling Ghanaians, we are actually educating Ghanaians that let's give a common political platform to everybody. And that is what we are looking for. And that will, up our game. And that will send the flag of Ghana very high. People will be able to understand that, no, Ghanaians actually understand, politics. And so they are giving platform for anybody at all who is a responsible person, who has a very good conscience, and he can also bring something onto the table of the politics. That is what we are looking for.
Okay. But does the CPP present itself, perhaps now with Ivan Greenstreet in that leadership position, as a third force? I mean, their name is known, we talk about them, but they've not really been that third force that people have been calling for.
It is true that CPP is not actually visible, unlike it happened during Kwame Nkrumah's regime. Yes, but it takes, all of us to support him. We all need to be, if one way or the other, I could say, we all need to have a sense of responsibility to give a common platform to all the political parties, wherever they find themselves. It is the media that gives opportunity to people to share their opinion, to share their views, to share their political philosophy or ideology. And so let's try as much as possible to give a common platform for each and every one. Each political party needs to be given a platform. So if Ivan Greenstreet or CPP get the platform, they can also change the dynamism. They can also echo their philosophy. They can also share their attributes to Ghanaians, although they've not been quite phenomenal. But I think that they also add up to our democratic journey. That is what we are looking for.
Ms. Agbe, also, tell them to give us something, because we can't always have them talk about just about the same things every day. So they should also make the news, so that we won't have any choice but to talk about them. But the last thing I want to ask, to touch on is Samia Nkrumah raising some issues about money going in different directions on Saturday. Should we be paying attention to the fact that some delegates were given monies to vote for the people they voted for?
Mama V, I must say that I was quite saddened when I heard that story that my sister Samia, that I do know very well, was actually crying foul of the fact that Ivan Greenstreet fought vote. I think that it doesn't paint Samia Nkrumah in a good light. But I think that if you should lose an election because you've invested so much, your energy, your money, and all the material resources, you feel a bit embittered when you are defeated. So I quite sympathize with my sister, but let me say that he has also added to the CPP very well, having been a former MP for the CPP and a former national chairperson for the CPP. He has also done creditably well. She should support Ivan Greenstreet. She should, say that, no, the CPP has a formidable candidate, Ivan Greenstreet. This is the candidate that the CPP will respect. This is the candidate that the CPP is selling to Ghanaians. So we should kindly, water down and tell our sister Samia Nkrumah that although it is quite painful, but she should take it easy and then let them package the CPP in a good light, just like you said.
Is this the end of her political career? I mean, because she's no longer the chairperson. We don't know if she would even stand, though she gave a hint that would be an option to go back to Parliament. But would people even vote for her? Is this the end of her?
It is not the end of Samia Nkrumah. I think that she's still, she quite looks, good and nice lady. And so she quite has a lot of attributes in her. And so I think that if we all give her a helping hand by helping her to package or to reorganize herself very well, she can become, another MP for Jomoro people or any part of Accra or wherever that the people respect him to become the MP. So it is not the end of Samia Nkrumah. What she needs to do is to reorganize herself and take a quite decisive, orientation of trying to put herself together and tell herself that no, she still belongs to the philosophy of father's political party, and that is where she belongs to. She has no other choice but rather to, respect the fact that people have voted for Yvonne Greenstreet, and so she needs to support Yvonne Greenstreet, and then it will be able to paint a good picture of her that no, this person is politically matured. And so when she goes back to Jomoro people one way or the other, the people will say that yes, this is a good politician.
Sure.
And so we let's try to caution Samia that it is all about her putting herself together and do what is politically acceptable.
Okay.
But, Mama V, let me say that at this point in time, Ghana Institute of Governance and Security will also like to challenge the media that we all need to be ethically responsible so that we do not expose Yvonne Greenstreet in the media landscape. If people are not quite cautious, they will be taking photographs of his full body here and there, and we do not want that. The media need to be, ethically responsible.
But but Mr. Agbe, what is there to hide? I mean, this is who he is.
Yes, and that is what is yes, he is a physically challenged person, but we are learning from a well-developed country like, America. I do remember vividly that when Franklin Roosevelt was the former American president, all the media houses in America, they were all, ethically responsible. They were not exposing Franklin at all. They were taking shot of him from the upper part of his body whenever he goes to podium, wherever that Franklin was doing his campaign. The media was actually giving him the support, and they were making sure that he is not exposed, everywhere for people to know that he's physically challenged and so he cannot do anything. But the media was ethically responsible. They were doing what is good. They were making sure that they were focusing much on his message. And that was what the media was focusing on. And so we shouldn't say that because Yvonne Greenstreet is physically challenged, let's take a shot of him, expose him, that he's in wheelchair and what have you. No, we shouldn't do that. We shouldn't entertain that. So we need to support everybody. And I mean, the media especially. Joy News, you've been doing fantastically well. And we will continue to encourage you to do good, not to expose, Yvonne or any other person in a bad light at all.
Okay, I see you are heavily on the media this morning, but it's always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much for your time. Mr. David Agbe is Executive Director of the Ghana Institute of Governance and Security. So there you have it. More things that perhaps this is an eye-opener really for some of us. We'll see. The good thing is he's saying we shouldn't advocate and say, okay, vote for him, but we should give him the opportunity that we would give to all others, which I think we do, by the way.
I don't think he may not, according to what the media is, in terms of the exposure that we tend to give Samia Nkrumah, be comparable to Yvonne Greenstreet. But I think he has a favorable rating among many notable, credible media houses. Because I remember back in the day, or let's say before 2012, we gave incredibly some good time to espouse a lot more of the
as General Secretary of the party,
the tenets, as well as the whole idea of why the CPB would want to become the third force in Ghana's politics. And I think that he'll get the airtime. He'll get the airtime. He'll get the spaces in the newspapers and the print media, as well as all through this very internet world that we live in.
Yeah, but I also think it's a good call, a good reminder, if you like, to caution us that take good pictures. But we've taken media houses have come up with pictures of leaders of political parties either sleeping, opening their mouths somewhere, and that kind of thing. So if you're saying we should be ethically correct, we shouldn't be highlighting only because Mr. Greenstreet is sitting in a wheelchair. But even with all the others, we shouldn't take, even when we take inappropriate pictures, we should know how to use them. But one person who's been sitting and listening and watching, and I know that he wants to have his say, even on the conversation with Mr. Agbe, is our own Mr. Alexander Akom, who is Deputy Minister.
And the name is John Alexander Akom. And I like him so much because I feel that he's a very good political commentator.
Yeah.
And he takes his time, builds his point, and gets to the stage where if he needs to punch, he'll punch. And I always enjoy my conversations with him.
He's an absolute gentleman.
Yes, he is.
So stay with us. Now he's Minister Designate for the Ashanti region. So if you live in the Ashanti region,
free airtime. I have to talk to
but that's not what he's coming to talk about. It's not what he's coming to talk about. He's also fighting the seats that one of our friends is occupying right now. We'll see how that goes. So stay with us right here. Talk is up next.
Yes, we're taking a very good ride back.